Hey there, TJ here, and welcome to Yeah The Dees, where I'm going through our round 24 win against the Sydney Swans up at the SCG on Sunday, the 27th of August. Last round of the year, and ended it with a fantastic win, possibly one of the best performances of the season. Very, very happy with the outcome of this. Not very happy with the outcome of Jake Melksham's injury, which is very, very shattering for us as supporters, for Melksham, for his family, for everyone involved. It's just very, very, very sad for someone who is in arguably career best form so late into his career to have done his knee and pretty much rob him of final series and all of next year. Basically, ACLs are horrific injuries. It takes you 10 months to really before you can start running, and then at 12 months, like Adam Tomlinson, who just went through it, that's when you can start to sort of really start training properly and try to put in some work. And then it takes you another 6 months really to get up to AFL standard and AFL quality, because you really need to put that training in to be able to run out games, because the game just demands so much for you. And it's just so cruel because he's out of contract this year, and then he's not going to be able to make any impact next year. So it's like, what do you do with him? And the same with Luke Dunstan, who's also out of the contract at the end of this year. He did his knee in the amazing 101-point demolition from the VFL team. He's in a similar position where he's a bit younger, but both out of contract and not really going to be able to bring much value to the team next year. So that just makes things really, really tough with the decisions that they make. I don't know if do you rookie list Melksham for a year. I don't think Dunstan will be as lucky. I think he'll probably end up getting cut, which is really, really sad. He looked like he would be getting picked up by a rival club next year, especially off his VFL form where he looked pretty decent. Yeah, I'm just really sad for Jake Melksham. Hopefully we can rookie list him or something to keep him around. He's an amazing club man. Thoughts go out to him and hope he recovers quickly with his knee, and as well to Luke Dunstan. But let's just get cracking into this game. So the quarter starts, and it's a bit of an arm wrestle for the first few minutes until the Sydney Swans start peppering the goals. They had 4 shots on goal early, but only to get 1 goal 3. The effort was there all quarter from us. We were trying really hard and just got a bit unlucky with the ball. Seemed to bounce Sydney's way just a little bit, and they took that early lead. We got some reward for effort after Oliver is bumped after taking the mark and rewarded with a 50-metre penalty, which he's just able to hit up Fritsch leading, and he kicked our first, and then he also kicked our second as well. He looked pretty good in this first quarter, leading quite well. Errol Gulden got a reply shortly after that first goal from Bayley Fritsch, but we sort of wrestled the momentum back a little bit later in the quarter. Sydney definitely unlucky with their shots on goal. They kicked 2-5 for the quarter. Jake Melksham was able to get our third and his first for the game 25 minutes into the quarter. Put us up to be leading by 3 points at quarter time. So we kicked 3-2-20 to the Swans 2-5-17. They had more of the ball that quarter, definitely bounced their way a bit more, but we were just able to absorb all that, and our better kicking. We actually should have had another chance in that quarter, but for some reasons this year the umpires are just super quick to call advantage, so the siren goes instead of us having another shot for goal for holding the ball inside our inside 50. So we should have probably been up by more in the end. But I'm pretty happy with a 3-point lead going into it. This whole first part of this second quarter, I was just watching us play, and I just wanted Sydney to just kick a goal and just so we could just get on with the game. Just the way that it was going, it just made me feel like Sydney's just going to get the first goal of this quarter, and then we'll be right. And that's pretty much what happened in the end. Callum Mills got a goal 7 minutes in, and then we got the ball back into the middle. We were able to reset, and then we were just able to control the second half of that quarter, kicking 2 goals, one through Jake Melksham and the other through Angus Brayshaw, which was an absolute ripper, his goal. So that's 2 goals in 2 weeks for Angus Brayshaw, and the only 2 goals he's kicked for the year is those 2. That second quarter just it was high pressure. Like the whole game was high pressure. And the third quarter had the most, but the first half was pretty full on too. So the Swans were the highest pressure team for the entire round of games for that weekend. So we played in the highest pressure game for the weekend. In that second quarter, they were sitting at 199 and we were still able to get the 2 goals on the board. So in the end, we kicked 2-2-14 to Sydney's 1-3-9. We extended the lead to 8 points. Then Buddy went around and waved goodbye and all that. That's exactly what all the Swans are out for. And the Swans dominate and kick 3 goals in 3 minutes here. We have a bit of an arm wrestle back. Maybe they're a bit unlucky with a couple of these shots on goal, but it ends up being 4 goals in a row to them. And I don't know whether the Buddy celebration did anything. Was it maybe Max getting poked in the eye and having to come off the field for a little bit? I think it was around this. I think it was just after this goal, before that goal. He had to come off. Melksham has his knee tweak and gets subbed out. Fritsch also goes down in a part of that quarter as well. It just seemed like our footy lights were flashing before our eyes for a little bit. It looked like we had just gotten into a bit of comfortability getting these extra goals. And even though it's only 8 points, it was just the way that we were playing. We looked really comfortable on the ground. And then just to have this flurry here really took me by surprise. I didn't expect Sydney to be able to go and just do a big burst like that. But once we get our troops back and we sort of reset, Max Gawn's back on the ground. And JVR did a really, really good job in the ruck, and he has in the last couple of weeks. He jumps up really high. He tries to hit the ball at the highest point, tries to get it into space. And he's doing some really, really nice things. And they had the one goal from marking up forward. But that was a vital goal at that point. He just bobbed up when we needed to and got the job done there. This run is just absolutely nuts. After having 4 unanswered goals kicked on us in a row, we go on to kick the next 6 and keep Sydney goalless. And that's what I was really, really impressed with. We really held them out of their forward line. It was very similar to the last quarter against the Hawks the week before, where we just held them out of their back line. And if it did go into their back line, someone like a Jake Lever was just gobbling those balls up completely. The third quarter, whilst we let them, have a bit of a burst on goal, kicked 4 goals, 3 in this burst of 15 minutes. And then for the last, 20 minutes of this quarter and 15 minutes of this quarter, we just dominated the play, like absolutely dominated. They had, in the end, they had 1 scoring shot in this entire run here. It was really, really impressive. We were winning the contest, winning the turnover, holding our space really, really well, holding them up. They just didn't really know where to go. And then we got the Bayley Fritsch party time show in this last quarter, kicking 3 after giving us all a huge scare, came back on and, absolutely dominates and gets 3 goals. My favourite moment in the quarter is probably the Alex Neil-Bullen holding the ball, where the guy goes to don't argue him and he just grabs the arm and just doesn't let go. The guy drops the ball and it's a free kick and a turnover, and we just absolutely crushed them. I was watching the free kick count just tick away from like halfway in this third quarter, where we're just getting more and more holding the balls, more and more free kicks just from good pressure. And the Swans are just, absolutely just letting the game slip and lose. And it just came from toughness more than anything. During that time, from the 20-minute mark of the third quarter, we had 38 tackles between that from the end of the game. 15 of them came after the 20 mark of the third quarter to the end of the third quarter alone. So we had 23 tackles in the last quarter, which is a fairly high amount for us. We had 7 more inside 50s in that time, 21-14. We outscored them 40-3, so we outscored them by 37. We had 19 more contested possessions, 71-52. And we scored 48% of the time that we went inside 50 at that stage, where the Swans scored 21% of the time. And that just really helps when we're hitting the scoreboard and just getting it done. So yeah, absolutely thrilled with the result in this game. We weren't really playing for anything other than form. And I'm not used to being a team that kind of wrecks someone's finals series, or, we have a negative effect on other teams on the ladder. It was nice to deny this shitty mob a home final. Like, fuck them. They can come and play St Kilda over here rather than having a home final there. So it was nice to just stick it up a club for once and just, grind out just a nice gritty win that, gives us a lot of confidence going into playing Collingwood in round 1 of the finals. So, pretty excited about the finals. Got my tickets this morning, and I'm absolutely thrilled. I actually haven't been to a losing final yet. I missed the ones last year because I was interstate for the first 2 weeks of the finals. And this year I've actually cancelled work so I could go because I'm not missing it. So I hope I bring my good luck into the final series because I've never watched the D's lose a final. So let's fingers crossed that'll happen again. Let's get stuck into the votes for this round. And once again, the coaches' votes haven't been announced yet, so I'll have to just leave them out. But we'll get stuck straight into my votes. And I gave one vote to Judd McVie, who was amazing in defence, really, really clutch in certain moments to be able to create the turnover or get the vital disposal out of danger. Our backline's just back to doing what it does best, holding a very, very good Sydney side to 56 points. And because of that, I gave Stephen May the 2 votes. He was just moving the ball up the ground, really helping us get more territory, which you really need to do against Sydney at the SCG. It is a very small ground. It's very easy for the ball to ping around and go quickly, and we witnessed that in that third quarter. Gave 3 votes to Alex Neil-Bullen, who at one stage in the game I thought was best on ground. He was absolutely clutch in defense with his tackling. He was running everywhere. His running lanes were fantastic. He got to the right areas and impacted the ball and the ball carrier. He is in such good form heading into finals and has had a couple of games in a row that really remind you how good he is. Gave 4 votes to Bayley Fritsch for his 5 goals. He was the difference in the end. His cleanliness with the ball on foot, even after hurting his left foot, he was still kicking with it and absolutely putting them through nice and easy. 3 goals in the last quarter, 2 goals in the first quarter, and an injury scare in between, but I gave him the 4 votes. Gave 5 votes to Jack Viney, who had another immense game. Put his hand up for All-Australian selection. He made it into the 44. I hope he gets in the team. I don't think he will because there's a few flashier players that definitely catch the selectors' eyes. But yeah, gave Viney the 5 votes for another immense game. I was tearing my hair out trying to pick between him and Christian Petracca for the 6 votes. But with Petracca changing the game in the third quarter when it was on the line, being the untackleable bull that he is, he was the difference. And that goal he kicked in the third quarter was absolutely unreal. He's an absolute rock star. So 6 votes for him, which means for the home and away season, Christian Petracca takes out the award for best player of the season, closely followed by Jack Viney, and Trent Rivers comes third. On to the VFL, and it was wildcard weekend, which we ended up having to be in, playing the team in 10th, which was North Melbourne, and it was really competitive for about 8 minutes and then just went to absolute crap. I had this on my MacBook whilst watching the Melbourne-Sydney game, which started after quarter time on the TV. Started really hot. There was 7 goals in this first 10 minutes. They kicked the first one, we kicked the next one, they kicked the next one, we kicked the next one. Then we got one more, and then they got that. That was their 3rd goal. And then they only kicked 2 more goals for the rest of the game, one in the last quarter and one here in the second. We just dominated from then onwards. I'll just scroll this up so you can see the scores properly. 101 points. It was a smashing. Every time I looked down from the TV after quarter time, it felt like we were just lining up for goal. So first quarter was just, slightly competitive. We kicked away towards the end, got 2 late goals to then make it a 18-point lead. And then we just held them goalless for 20 minutes of that second quarter to extend the lead from 18 to 40 points. And then we just go on to pile 61 more points on in that last quarter to lead and win by 101 and absolutely embarrass them. T-Mac kicked 5 goals and he looked pretty good. I was really happy with the way he was moving. He looked determined to get back into the side. Grundy, playing in the ruck, had a massive game, absolutely demolished North Melbourne. He had 33 disposals, kicked 3. Andy Munez-Wakefield also kicked 4 on the day, so he's looking pretty handy. James Jordan had 36 for the day. Charlie Spargo with 19, who was pretty good, who kicked a goal. Tajwa Woden had 17. Tom McDonald had 17 to go along with his 5 goals. He had a couple of tackles too. James Jordan is definitely above VFL level, and coming to think about it, I think he's pretty much our Zach Merritt. He's the exact same sort of player as him. He can play inside, but he's probably better suited on the outside. You know, just a nice player that has really good disposal, but that sort of player just isn't cracking it into our top 22, 23 at the moment. So the Casey Demons will now take on the Footscray Bulldogs for some reason at Box Hill City Oval instead of Whitten Oval. Not sure why. Really annoyed. Whitten Oval's down the road from me. Would have loved to have gone. Should be an absolute cracking game. So there we are, ladder done, season done for the year, 16 wins. I'm pretty happy anytime we've got 16 wins. This is our third year in a row in the top 4. The last time the Dees were top 3 years in a row was the 1960s. So it's been a long time since Dees fans have been able to enjoy a team this good. Second best percentage in the league. Probably should be sitting second with that Carlton loss, or even, you know, the loss we really shouldn't have given away to GWS. But yeah, I'm really happy with the situation that we sit in. Challenging Collingwood at the MCG. It's a good situation to be in. In the end, you're going to have to beat one of the top 4, or at least 2 of the top 4 probably, to get through. It's going to be hard for the teams below that to make that happen. I think Carlton Sydney is going to be really interesting. And then they go through and they will face the loser of us and Collingwood. Because I'm telling you, I don't feel like we're going to lose this first round. I just feel like we're in much better form. Everything but our forward line is sorted. And the forward line, I feel like you could almost chuck any 6 players in there from our list and would get almost the same results as we have throughout the year. It comes down to the way that the midfielders are delivering the ball to the forwards, and how the forwards are leading to the midfielders. What we see with Bayley Fritsch getting 5 goals, and most of them coming from leads, that he makes it easy for the ball carrier to find him and kick the ball out in front of him, because he's a really, really smart forward. When the forwards aren't moving around in the forward line, it forces the midfielders to kick dump kicks on top of their heads. And that's where we could improve a little bit, is by having people lead a little bit more like Bayley Fritsch does. It's going to be interesting with the selection. I think either Tom McDonald or Brodie Grundy comes in for Jake Melksham. They won't play the same role. Jake Melksham's been playing that sort of negating role. Joel Smith might go into that role there. And then Grundy could take Joel Smith's role, which is a sort of smaller amount of game time. And then maybe he just takes the ruck contests for a bit rather than JVR. But Tom McDonald's probably the better fit for us, and there's probably a safer fit for us based off his experience with the side and playing those roles. And if he's fit and doing all right, I think he'll do fine against Collingwood. So that's pretty much my thoughts on the game. Thank you very much for watching. Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Looking forward to the game in, 9 days or 8 days after I post this up. And very, very keen on the AFLW starting this week. They're going to be unveiling the flag at 6:30 at Icon Park. So get on down there, support the girls. And then, yeah, we've got the boys VFL on Saturday at midday. So still plenty of D's footy to watch this weekend, even though it's not AFL. So get around the 2 sides. And I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching Yeah The Dees.
Petracca! Oh wow! How good is that?
Sparrow to make it a 3-goal, 3-pointer dive. He's got it!
Surely not another one. Handball to Oliver, streaming through. Bang! Bang, bang, bang!
Melbourne are the premiers for 2021!
And it's just so special for our club, mate, our club.
Lastly, after 57 years of pain, it's coming home.